Hey there, it's Ryan. Hope you are having a stupendous Tuesday. Happy September. I know it's probably been a hot minute since you and I have talked, but a couple things that have come across my desk in the last week that I wanted to make sure that you were aware of, some news articles, those kind of things. So once again, I know it's been probably a little bit since we've talked, but I helped you close a home loan sometime in the past. And what is happening right now, specifically with the interest rate talk of things coming down, the Fed's meeting and everything, I wanted to make sure that you were well informed. So there's like zero sales pitch attached to this, but there's some hairy things going on out there that I think are worth your attention. All right. So number one, first and foremost, the Fed cutting interest rates has nothing to do with the mortgage rates. Mortgage rates is a downline adjustment that happens after the Fed takes into consideration any adjustments that they are going to make. Okay, so for a lot of the last 2 to 3 years, interest rates have been over 7% as the national average. As it sits right now, the national average for mortgage rates, at least according to Google, and this takes into consideration all lenders across the country and all home buyers that are looking at single family homes that they are going to occupy, so like no investment properties. So the national average right now is about 6.5%, which is down compared to what it has been over the last few years, but it's still probably not to where a lot of you guys have interest rates that are higher than that 6.5%. So at least 2/5 of all homes in the country are owned outright. So paid off and there's no mortgage against them. All right. And 60% of all mortgages have interest rates that are lower than where we are right now. So the reason I bring this up is because there's a lot of stuff that's happening as far as marketing material, a lot of things that are happening in the news. So I wanted to make sure that you are well informed and you can make good decisions if you do potentially need to do anything with your home loan. All right. So I had a customer reach out to me yesterday to ask if we sent him out a letter. So this is actually the letter that he sent to us and a couple things on it that I had to redact, once again, protecting his private information. So the first and foremost, they make it look like it's coming from me, from Ryan Miracle Ruoff Mortgage. And I promise you, we don't send out letters like this. I'm sending out communication like this via email if there's any communication that needs to be had. Okay, so this did not come from us. It is coming from another mortgage company that pulled your information based upon your rate, your loan type, when you closed, and is slapping my name on it. So once again, you have to be very careful if these letters are coming out to you and they sound too good to be true. All right. Now, second piece is you see the interest rate here that they are offering. So we just went over what the national average mortgage rates are right now. So if there is this much of a disparity, 4.75 versus the 6.5 that this customer was offered, there's one of two things that is happening here. So number one is you have them trying just to make the phone ring. Now, if you go down here, you will see that this is, where is it going to say? Confirm eligibility. So what's going to happen, I used to work at a call center, so I understand how this works. The place that I worked at did this, is they want the phone to ring. That is the sole job of this piece of paper. They don't know any specifics about you. What they're doing is trying to get you interested, pique your curiosity, and get the phone to ring. So when you have this large of a disparity between the national average mortgage rate and what they're offering to you, one of two things is going to happen. So number one, when you call in and they actually talk to you, said, oh, well, that was a promotional rate. This is actually what you qualify for. So kind of a bait and switch thing. And unfortunately, this is not illegal. And then secondly, if the interest rate is going to hold, they're going to charge you a lot in points to bring that interest rate down from 6.5 down to 4.75. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is how are you going to know when it is time to refinance? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up my calculator, and where'd you go? Calculator. Ta-da. Okay. So what I want to show you is, generally speaking, how you're going to determine if you should be considering a refinance or not. So kind of the big thing is, if we are looking at just reducing the interest rate on what is considered a rate in term refinance. So not paying off any debts, not getting a home equity loan or anything like that. This is just purely reducing your interest rate to reduce your monthly payment. So the closing costs, traditionally speaking, including my company and the title company, are going to be about $3,000. That is a pretty standard set of closing costs. And that's probably what you paid when you bought your house with me before. Because once again, for us, interest rate or closing costs are not a profit center. So that being said, we want to make sure that we are cutting you as fair of a deal as possible so we don't make any money off of fees. All right. So how do you calculate if it's worth your time to refinance? So say that you are looking at refinancing and your payments will come down $100. So if the closing costs are $3,000 and you're saving $100 a month, your break even on if it's going to make sense for you to refinance or not is 30 months. Okay. However, if closing costs are $3,000 and you are saving $30 a month, it is 100 months to break even. So you need to live in that house and have that mortgage for another 100 months to have it make sense to refinance. Now, if you are saving $300 a month, simple math be mathin', you can safely assume that you are going to break even really quickly with that. So the general rules of whether it makes sense to refinance or not, of it has to be 0.5% or 1%, those don't apply. Specifically in this situation, because you need to calculate how long it's going to take you to break even. If you're going to live in the house for that long, great, then it makes sense to refinance. Okay, so that is generally speaking how we determine if a rate and term refinance is good for you. And once again, a rate and term refinance is where you're just renegotiating the mortgage contract you have just to bring down the interest rate. Okay, so that is probably not where most of you are going to land right now. And I say this with all the love, all the respect, and all the sensitivity as possible, but like the economy is not doing great right now. So the stock market seemingly is doing well, but like 90% of the population of the United States is not in the stock market because, generally speaking, we can't afford to spend money on stocks. So therefore, it is usually the top wealth earners that are controlling the stock market. So you basically have two different types of economy. So you have the stock market economy, which is doing seemingly very well, good for them. And then you also have the regular people, probably like you and I, that the economy doesn't feel like it's going very well. So specifically talking about real estate, property taxes are up a lot since COVID. As a personal example, I've had 3 escrow shortages because in the last 4 years because of property taxes going up and also insurance going up. Now, the insurance one is the one that caught me by surprise, as during my renewal, my insurance shot up 1/3 and wasn't notified. Go figure. So if you are anything like me, your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, and just regular life, your utility bills, insurance, or not insurance, electric bills are going up because of all the data centers that are going in. And by the way, the data centers are not paying for that electricity. Electric companies are passing that cost on to us. So life is just getting more expensive. So I've had multiple conversations with a bunch of you that trying to figure out if staying in the house that you're in right now that we originally helped you purchase is the right thing to do. And I would hope that I've earned enough trust with you that you would call me and ask questions, because this week alone, it's only Tuesday, I've had to tell 3 customers that it is not worth your time to refinance. You either need to sit tight and try to refinance later, or you can try to look at trying to sell your house into something that is more affordable. The other alternative is using the equity that you've gained over the last couple of years. So using your house to help take care of your family, and how that would look is paying off cars, paying off credit cards. Because once again, credit card rates or credit card usage is at an all-time high, and defaults are starting to happen because once again, income is just not kept up with life, with expenditures. So good thing is groceries have come down since COVID, but pretty much everything else has gone the opposite direction. So it would make sense to use the equity in your home If you need to clean up some things like credit cards, if you took out a home equity, you could potentially get that cleaned up as well. Once again, I'm not selling you anything. So if it comes to the point to where I need to tell you to stay put and don't do anything, I'm having more of those outcomes than I am, yeah, this makes sense for you to refinance. The point being is I only send this video out to you, and I know it's been a long time since we've probably talked, but there is going to be a lot of people reaching out to you like, where is it? Like these folks that are just spamming to try to see who they can get the phone to ring. So there is no basis in reality for this letter to exist. Those numbers don't necessarily meet where the market is right now, because we already talked about national average interest rates are 6.5. So for it to be this different, there's something amiss here. So point being is I'm offering open door that if you need to talk, if you have questions about anything, reach out to me. You can email me, you could text me, you can call me. Once again, I am not a hard person to find. And I did help you buy a house some time ago, or help you refinance some time ago. So once again, doors always open. I want to make sure that my people are taken care of, because as interest rate talk starts heating up, more of these letters are going to start going out, and therefore more of you are going to start having questions. I don't want you to get fleeced, get to closing and have $10,000 and extra fees get tacked on, and then the whole math behind if it makes sense for you to refinance or not goes out the window. So happy to be a voice. I'm happy to tell you no if the answer is not right now or not at all. So get honest, straight talk, and I'll be happy to make sure that you're taken care of either way. So I hope you're doing well. Happy Tuesday. Sorry this video went probably about 10 minutes longer than what I thought, but once again, this is all important information. So reach out if you have questions, if there's anything I can help with. Once again, I'm still here, Ryan Miracle, your friendly neighborhood loan officer, and I hope you're doing well. I'm staying happy, staying healthy, and God bless. I'm praying for you.